Okay, this is the components and assembly of the ST2000 water leak detector from Subtech. So the first thing we have is the actual module itself. It's a sound amplifier with low and high frequency settings. We have our volume, power, and our two noise filters. This is the sensor port, and we have our headphone jack. Serial numbers are on the back of the unit. The next thing we have is our first sensor that's included. It's a probe sensor. This takes probe bars that go into the ground. That's the port on the back side. And then we have a slab sensor that can be set right down onto a concrete slab to listen for leaks. It also includes these three probe bars. We have the main probe and two extension bars. And there's an adapter for the second sensor we'll talk about here in a minute. We have our hand control with a push button on the top. This is what turns the sound on and off. Comes standard with some headphones, and you can use any headphones as long as it has the appropriate size jack. And a neck strap for the module itself. And then it includes a pressure manifold with a water and an air side. So the basic assembly, as you can see, when you grab the unit, it's not going to turn on until you plug the headphones in. So it's a battery saving function. So once you have the headphones plugged in, the unit will turn on. Just push the power button. And we have low and high noise filters, low and high frequency noise filters. There's several different settings. From here, you're going to plug in your hand control unit. So the bottom side of that, the shorter cable, you'll plug into the sound amplifier module, and it just turn it until it drops down in, and then tighten the nut. And from there you can attach whatever sensor you're going to be using. So we'll attach our probe sensor for this, our ground sensor. So this would be for a slab. And it's set up and ready to go. So from there, all you do is grab your hand control and push the button. Once you have your headphones in, you push that button on and then adjust the volume. Always make sure that the volume is all the way down. Plug it in, put the headphones on, and then slowly turn the volume up, as it is very loud. To change the sensor, just turn the unit off, and we'll unplug the slab sensor. We'll grab our probe sensor, and same way we'll plug it in, just drop it in, turn it till it drops in, and then tighten the nut. And then we can insert our probe bar, and they just thread right into the probe sensor. So you can use the extensions and make it as long as you need it. For this demonstration, we'll just plug the probe bar straight in, and threads on to the right. And then this is ready to go. This is used to probe into soil or to push right up against any kind of stubs, hoses, and etc. Now, if you were to damage the probe sensor for some reason, you can take apart the slab sensor. It just twists off the bottom base. And we'll use the small adapter that comes with the kit. We'll thread that right on to the stud. And then from there, you can thread on your probe bar, and that'll turn your slab sensor into a probe. And plug it back in, and it's ready to go. And then your pressure manifold, this is going to be used with an air compressor, so you want to make sure the O-ring is in, and then you can hook this right up to any hose stub on the house. And once you turn the water side on, it's going to give you the water pressure of the house. And then you can just plug an air compressor, small air compressor into the air side, and pressurize over the water pressure, usually about 5 pounds over, and that will pressurize the system, and it'll turn the noises from the leaks into a gurgling noise, and it'll make them a lot easier to detect. So once you have it all hooked up, you want to isolate the system, and you do this step by step, and you can start by looking at the meter, and if everything's turned off and the meter's turning, you know you have a leak in your first main line. But once you have things isolated, you can start to move around the house or wherever you're at. And I'm using my probe sensor here just to check all the stub ups, listening to hoses. If there's any hoses connected, take them off. Sometimes it can be a small leak just coming through a hose, and that's enough to keep that meter running. So again, we're just going to walk around the entire exterior, listening to any fittings, any hoses, and we're listening for any running water. Again, if everything's turned off, you shouldn't be hearing any water running, and when you do, that's where you're going to be able to find your leak, and then from there you can start to probe out into the soil or use the slab sensor to listen under the concrete. Once we've completed the outside, we'll work our way inside. We'll do the same thing. So we're going to all the different hoses, any connections, valves, listening to hot and cold side. Everything's turned off, so we're expecting to not hear any running water. And if we do, then from there we can start to trace out where our leak may be. If you have any questions on the leak detector, give us a call, 209-531-9716.